Chapter 291, Chapter 291, So You're Looking for Someone, 1. Chapter 291, So You're Looking for Someone, 1. At the gate of Shao Changtian's courtyard. Shao Changtian looked at Qing Feng Patriarch and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master kneeling in front of him. No one knew what he was thinking. He asked his disciple what was going on with these two people, but he did not expect these two people to kneel down directly. And he said that he was guilty? These two people had followed Ruomiao back. Looking at how old they were, they didn't look like those outlaws. After all, if he committed a crime at such an old age, the local government would not be able to catch him. On the other hand, those who were too strict with themselves felt that life was too tiring and that everything they did was wrong. If that was the case, if it was not too serious, he could enlighten them. With this thought in mind, Shao Changtian turned to Qing Feng Patriarch and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master who were kneeling on the ground and said, "Have you encountered any difficulties recently? Tell me." Qing Feng Ancestor and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master who were kneeling on the ground were delighted to hear that Shao Changtian didn't blame them. As expected, Senior knew everything. He even knew why he was here. At the same time, Patriarch Qing Feng and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master looked at Shao Changtian with gratitude. Senior was magnanimous and did not fuss over their ignorance before. He would have to repay Senior in the future. With this thought in mind, Qing Feng said to Shao Changtian, "Senior, we've indeed encountered some difficulties recently. We're looking for Hong Yun and the others." Hearing Qing Feng Patriarch's words, Shao Changtian finally realized that he was looking for someone. It was normal for him to be anxious. However, he did not know whether Hong Yun was a good person or not. Just as Shao Changtian was about to tell Qing Feng Ancestor and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master that he had never seen Hong Yun before, Lin Ruomiao walked to Shao Changtian's side and said slowly, "Master, they're looking for the bricklayers and ashers in the courtyard." After Lin Ruomiao finished speaking, Shao Changtian swallowed the words that were about to come out of his mouth. Looking at the cool breeze, the old man, the hidden door, the clothing, the search, the search, the search, the search, the search. So he was here to look for someone. He thought it was something big. Then, Shao Changtian waved his hand and said to Patriarch Qing Feng and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master, "You're too late. They finished their work and left a few days ago." Leave after finishing? The Qing Feng Patriarch and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master looked at each other after hearing Shao Changtian's words. Seeing the meaning in each other's eyes, he knelt down to Shao Changtian again and said, "Senior, please help us find them." They had said disrespectful words to Shao Changtian before, and it was already good enough that Shao Changtian didn't bother with them. Now that they had to trouble Shao Changtian, Patriarch Qing Feng and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master felt uneasy. Seeing Patriarch Qing Feng and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master kneel down to him, Shao Changtian said to them, "You guys get up first. Don't keep acting like this. It won't be good if others see you. The person you're looking for lives in this town. Go and find him yourself." What was wrong with these two old men? They would kneel down for no reason. If the neighbors saw this, they would think that he was abusing them. Patriarch Qing Feng and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master stood up immediately after hearing Shao Changtian's words and said, "Thank you, Senior." They also knew that Shao Changtian was cultivating his heart in the mortal world and would not stick to the etiquette of the divinity. After receiving the news from Divine King Red Cloud and the others, Patriarch Clear Wind and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master chatted with Shao Changtian for a while before leaving the courtyard. Soon, after leaving Shao Changtian's courtyard, Patriarch Qing Feng and the Hidden Dragon Sect Master were walking on the streets of Daong Town. Hearing the shouts from both sides of the street, Qing Feng wiped the sweat off his face. The pressure he felt from Shao Changtian was no less than the pressure he felt when he faced the White Tiger. Then, Patriarch Qing Feng said to the Hidden Dragon Sect Master beside him with some lingering fear, "Qianlong, you said that if we found Hong Yun and the others, we would have to give them a good beating. In order to find them, we had to suffer so much along the way." Hearing Patriarch Qing Feng's words, the Hidden Dragon Sect Master nodded in unison and waved his fists. "After they are done, we must let them." What can they do? Before the hidden dragon sect master could finish speaking, a clear voice came from behind him. The hidden dragon sect master and old ancestor Clearwind turned their heads at the same time and saw God King Red Cloud and God King Black Sky standing behind them. Seeing the smiles on the faces of God King Red Cloud and the others, Qingfeng was furious and was about to punch Red Cloud. This is not a place to reminisce. Divine King Red Cloud uttered a few words before waving his sleeves. Patriarch Clearwind and the hidden dragon sect master felt as if the world was spinning as they appeared outside Great Sun Town. Hongyun, you've reached the God Emperor realm. Patriarch Clearwind couldn't even see how God King Red Cloud attacked. Hehe, what do you think? What were you saying on the street just now? You want to attack me? Hongyun smiled at Qingfeng. Back in the Godly King Palace, Godly King Red Cloud and Patriarch Clearwind were considered old friends. The two of them often sparred with each other. Now that they were far stronger than Patriarch Clearwind, God King Red Cloud naturally wanted to tease them. Moreover, they wanted to attack him in Dayong Town just now. Wasn't that courting death? Dayong Town was a place where seniors played around in the mortal world. If cultivators like them attacked here, how many of them would have a good ending? Just as that senior said, you're working hard to obtain great opportunities. After confirming God King Red Cloud's strength, Qingfeng felt bitter. They thought they were captured and used as slaves. What's wrong with you? Why did we see you kneeling at the entrance of Senior's courtyard just now? After exchanging pleasantries, God King Red Cloud spoke to Patriarch Clearwind. Patriarch Qingfeng and the hidden dragon sect master told them everything that happened when they went to the Coiling Dragon Mountain Range, met Lin Ruomiao, and went to Great Sun Town. After hearing their story, God King Red Cloud sighed and said to Patriarch Clearwind, Qingfeng, it's not that one want to criticize you, but luckily Senior didn't argue with you this time. Otherwise, no one could protect you. God King Black Heaven nodded in agreement after God King Red Cloud finished speaking. Qingfeng, you know our situation now. We won't be going back to the Godly King Palace. You can think about your future plans yourself. Under the crowd's chatter, Patriarch Clearwind and the hidden dragon sect master looked at Divine King Red Cloud and the others with envy. This group of people was living a carefree life now. Not only did they not have to deal with some chores in their own forces, but they also had to deal with some other matters. Every day, he could even listen to the senior's Tao lecture by the side of the senior's courtyard. Even his strength had advanced to the God Emperor realm. Such a day was really fragrant. No, one have to stay and repay Senior for his kindness. After a moment of thought, Patriarch Qingfeng clenched his fists and said slowly. Chapter 292 Chapter 292 These brothers are afraid of cats? Underscore. Chapter 292 These brothers are afraid of cats? I. Outside Dayong Town, Patriarch Clearwind stood beside them, clenching his fists. Although he had offended Senior, Senior did not offend him. This meant that Senior was giving him a chance to turn over a new leaf. Perhaps after he had changed, the Senior would give him some opportunities or something. At that time, he would be able to catch up to Hongyun and the others. After Patriarch Qingfeng finished speaking, how could the hidden dragon sect master not understand his thoughts? He immediately followed him and said, Qingfeng, like you, I will stay and find a chance to repay Senior. Even with their strength, Xiao Changtian probably wouldn't use them. However, what if one day, Senior had something that they could do to help? God King Red Cloud and God King Black Sky saw the actions of Patriarch Clearwind and the others and naturally understood what he was thinking. Everyone smiled and nodded tacitly. Following that, God King Red Cloud turned to Patriarch Clearwind and the hidden dragon sect master and said, Qingfeng, Qianlong, you two have just arrived. Why don't I take you to eat dumplings? Let me tell you, one didn't know when one was in the divine realm, but now that you've eaten it, one guarantee that you'll go again next time. After they settled down in Great Sun Town, Deity King Red Cloud and Deity King Black Sky also started to enjoy life like Xiao Changtian. They strolled around Dayong Town every day. Although they could avoid eating, they still went to the restaurants in the town often. As a result, the income of the people in Daeong town also rose rapidly. After all, Divine King Red Cloud and the others had as much gold as they wanted, let alone silver and copper coins. At the entrance of Shao Changtian's courtyard, after Patriarch Qingfeng and the Hidden Dragon sect master left, Shao Changtian also prepared to bring White Tiger and Lin Ruomiao into the house. Just as they were about to enter the main gate, they saw a figure dressed in black preparing to sneak in through the main gate. Stop! There's a thief! Shao Changtian's first reaction when he saw the black shadow was that a thief wanted to steal something from his courtyard. After all, who would dress up like this usually? The entire body was wrapped in black, and the face was covered with a mask and a hat. If it wasn't a thief, then what was it? Hearing Shao Changtian's shout, the black shadow knew that he had been discovered by Shao Changtian. Just as he was about to run into the courtyard, the white tiger in Shao Changtian's arms jumped down from his body and rushed towards the black shadow. Roar! In the spiritual world of the black shadow, the huge figure of the white tiger stood in the air, staring at him. Then, the white tiger roared at him. Bang! In the spiritual world, the black-robed man was attacked by the white tiger, and his body flew out like a kite with a broken string. At the entrance of Shao Changtian's courtyard, the black-robed man's body fell to the ground, and the black cloth on his face fell off. After seeing the face of the man in black, Shao Changtian stopped and muttered to the man in black. Di Tian. Shao Changtian's voice slowly entered the black-robed man's ears. Due to the white tiger's attack, the clone of the master of the divine court had yet to catch his breath. In the spiritual world just now, the white tiger's attack contained cold killing intent. If he hadn't protected his vital body parts well, he would probably have died under the claws of the white tiger. After Lin Ruomiao left with the white tiger, the avatar of the divine court master hidden in the Cultivator Alliance followed behind her. He revealed his body and Shao Changtian saw him. Could it be that his main body was imprisoned by such an existence? Thinking about how the white tiger had attacked him without any emotion, the clone of the master of the divine court immediately concluded that Shao Changtian had controlled his main body. If he had known earlier, he would not have been so reckless just now. A trace of regret flashed through his heart, but the clone of the master of the divine court also knew his current situation. To be able to raise a white tiger as a pet, even when he was all-powerful in the divine world back then, he could not do it. The white tiger also stared coldly at the clone of the master of the divine court. Back in the Coiling Dragon Mountain range, he was still wondering what brainless fellows would do together. Back then in the Coiling Dragon Mountain range, the white tiger had also sensed the existence of the clone of the master of the divine court. They didn't expect him to be one of them. Damn it. At this moment, Di Tian also walked out from Shao Changtian's courtyard. Seeing the half-dead clone on the ground, he quickly said to Shao Changtian, "Senior, please show mercy." When Shao Changtian saw Di Tian walking out of the courtyard, his expression was also filled with shock. How could there be two Di Tians? Could it be that the one lying on the ground was Di Tian's younger twin brother? As he thought of this in his heart, Shao Changtian spoke to Di Tian. "Didan, is this your twin brother? Younger brother?" When Di Tian heard Shao Changtian's words, his face was also filled with shock. This senior was cultivating his heart in the mortal world and playing around in the mortal world. In the eyes of mortals, his clone was like his younger brother. After he understood, Di Tian stared at his clone on the ground and spoke to Shao Changtian. "NN, this little brother has just arrived at Senior's place and doesn't know the rules." At this moment, the clone of the Lord of the Divine Court stared at Di Tian in shock. Younger brother? Since when did he become the main body's younger brother? If it wasn't for the white tiger suppressing him, the clone would have gone up and asked. However, seeing that the main body was fine, the clone heaved a sigh of relief. After that, Shao Changtian also waved his hands. He then spoke to Didan, "Dian, this little brother of yours is dressed in a unique way. If he dresses like this, people outside would definitely misunderstand him. Alright, you two haven't seen each other for a long time, right? Go catch up." Upon hearing Shao Changtian's words, Di Tian hurriedly nodded in agreement. After that, he pointed at the white tiger in front of his clone and spoke to Xiao Changtian. Senior, This white tiger was standing in front of his clone. Under its pressure, how could he talk to his clone? Xiao Changtian followed Di Tian's finger and saw him pointing at the white tiger on the ground. Are the two brothers afraid of cats? As he thought of this in his heart, Xiao Changtian also spoke to Di Tian. But it's just a cat. Are you afraid? Then, Xiao Changtian walked to the white tiger and picked him up from the ground. He stared at the two of them in confusion. The kitten was so cute, why were the two brothers afraid? I don't understand. Chapter 293 Clone Fusion 1 Chapter 293 Clone Fusion 1 Di Tian stared at the white tiger in Xiao Changtian's hands. He could only smile at Xiao Changtian. Senior, only you dare to call the white tiger a kitten. It's already good enough that the white tiger doesn't destroy existences like us. With this thought in his heart, Di Tian pulled his clone up from the ground. The clone of the master of the divine court felt the pressure of the white tiger on his body disappear and looked at the main body beside him. His stomach was filled with questions. Just as he was about to ask something, Di Tian pulled him back and spoke to Xiao Changtian. Thank you, Senior. All right, go ahead. However, I suggest that your brother change his clothes as well. Otherwise, it's too easy for others to misunderstand. Xiao Changtian stared at Di Tian and his clone before him. He waved his hand at them as he mumbled. As he spoke, Xiao Changtian walked into his courtyard with the white tiger in his arms. Lin Ruomiao stared at Di Tian and his clone but didn't say anything. With her current strength, she could also sense the connection between Di Tian and his clone. However, her master did not say anything, so she did not say anything else. After Xiao Changtian and Lin Ruomiao entered the courtyard, Di Tian also glanced around. After making sure that no one was spying on him, he pulled the clone of the master of the divine court and walked into a small alley. What's going on? Stop pulling. Tell me. The avatar of the Lord of the Divine Court followed Di Tian into the small alley. He stared at Di Tian before him as he mumbled. What happened to you just now? Why were you so rash? It just so happens that Senior doesn't have any ill intentions towards you. If it was anyone else, they wouldn't even know how they died. Di Tian stared at his clone, who was still smiling mischievously, as he spoke in a tone of disappointment. Upon sensing the anger in Di Tian's words, the avatar of the Lord of the Divine Court also turned solemn. He then spoke to Di Tian. Master, since one found you this time, I'll fuse with you directly. This way, you'll have more strength and can protect yourself more in the future. Also, is the master of the white tiger just now your friend? Why didn't one know about it? Upon hearing that his clone was going to fuse with him, Di Tian's expression softened. It seems that you haven't forgotten your roots. You'll understand what happened to Senior later. As he spoke, Di Tian also gathered the true essence in his hands. Back then, when he released these clones, he was also worried that they would not be under his control. It might even want to devour him instead. From today's situation, it was still possible. He just didn't know how his other clones were doing and what their personalities were like. Very quickly, a ball of light appeared in Di Tian's hand. Di Tian raised his arm and pushed it towards the center of his clone's brows. Instantly, Di Tian told his clone how he met Xiao Changtian. Haha, main body, you were actually hit by a clone. The clone of the Lord of the Divine Court digested the information in his mind. At the same time, he pointed at Di Tian and smiled. However, one didn't expect this senior to be cultivating his heart in the mortal world and playing around. Moreover, he even raised such a divine beast. One wonder what kind of cultivation he has. However, with him taking you in, I'm not too worried about your safety. I'm a little worried about the others. I don't know where they are now and if their luck has been stolen. Perhaps because he knew that he was about to fuse with the main body, the avatar of the Master of the Divine Court turned into a chatterbox and chattered nonstop. Alright, Senior is experiencing the life of a mortal. It's not suitable for us to fuse in his courtyard. I think this place is quite safe. Why don't we fuse here? Di Tian stared at his clone, his face expressionless. He placed his hands on his clone's shoulders as he spoke. The clone of the master of the divine court also smiled faintly. There was no sadness in his eyes. To him, avoiding the pursuit, finding the main body, and fusing with it was his mission. After hiding from place to place for the past few days, the clone of the master of the divine court was very happy to be able to find the main body. He slapped Di Tian's hand off his shoulder and clasped his hands tightly with Di Tian's. Then, both of them began to chant the same incantation. Immediately, a white light shone on the body of the avatar of the master of the divine court. Secret skill, merge. Di Tian's eyes were filled with determination. With a loud shout, the clone of the master of the divine court before him transformed into white light. After that, they gathered bit by bit into Di Tian's body before completely dissipating into the air. As the energy of his clone was injected into him, Di Tian also sat down cross-legged, stabilizing the energy in his body. When Di Tian was fusing with it, the God Kings who lived in Great Sun Town also felt an imposing aura. God King Red Cloud and the others looked in the direction of Xiao Changtian's courtyard and sighed. Senior's methods are truly unfathomable. They felt the pressure of a lord from this aura. It was as if a ruler of the past was awakening. Great Sun God Palace. Taoist De Yang could also sense Di Tian's aura. He turned his gaze towards Xiao Changtian's courtyard. I wonder what Senior is doing. This aura is really profound. In the alley, Di Tian slowly digested the power that his clone had sent over. His face was filled with joy as he looked at his hands. I'm one step closer to my peak. Di Tian mumbled. After fusing with his clone, Di Tian's strength had also reached the peak of the God King stage. In the divine world, as long as the divine emperor and the divine emperor did not appear, his life would not be in danger. Now, he only needed to stay in Xiao Changtian's courtyard to consolidate his cultivation and guard against those old guys in the dark. With this thought in his heart, Di Tian returned to his courtyard. Xiao Changtian, who was feeding the white tiger, saw him and felt that Di Tian seemed to be more energetic after catching up with his younger brother. As expected, people still had to keep in touch with their relatives more often. That way, their spirits would be better. As he thought of this in his heart, Xiao Changtian spoke to Di Tian. Di Tian, did you have a good chat with your little brother? When Di Tian heard Xiao Changtian's words, he also smiled and replied. Yes, it's quite a good conversation. Xiao Changtian stared at Di Tian's joyful face as he continued. That's good. If there's nothing else, you can go and look for your brother more. When Di Tian heard Xiao Changtian's words, his expression changed. As expected, Senior knew his situation like the back of his hand. Knowing that his strength had increased, he suggested that he look for other clones. Yes, I will. Di Tian replied to Xiao Changtian. In a dark cave, the phantom of the demon god condensed in midair. As the main body, I didn't expect you to hide under the protection of a human expert. You've really disgraced our monster race. This time, disappear. The demon god phantom raised its hands. As it spoke, its body emitted a terrifying aura, and even the surrounding space trembled. Chapter 294, Chapter 294. It's better to be careful about being possessed by a ghost. 1. Chapter 294. It's better to be careful about being possessed by a ghost. 1. The morning sun had just shone into Xiao Changtian's courtyard. In the room, Xiao Changtian was lying on his bed. His face revealed some sleepiness as he rubbed his hazy eyes with both hands. It's time to get up. Xiao Changtian opened his arms and said. Then Xiao Changtian suddenly felt that his body was very heavy, as if there was something pressing down on him. He couldn't help but look at his own body. Wow! Xiao Changtian couldn't help but scream, only to see Chu Yiren's head resting on his thigh. Why did this girl sneak into his room again? Xiao Changtian's voice woke Chu Yiren up from her sleep. Chu Yiren's head moved, slowly lifting up from Xiao Changtian's lap. Looking at Xiao Changtian, who was already seated on the bed, Chu Iren said to him, "Senior, good morning." After the Beast Tamer sect had been destroyed, Chu Iren had gone to the Beast Tamer headquarters to help her father rebuild the sect. A few days after the construction was completed, Chu Iren came to Xiao Changtian's courtyard from the Beast Tamer sect. However, she had arrived too late last night, so Chu Iren had gone straight to Xiao Changtian's room to sleep. "Girl, when did you come? Why didn't you tell me?" In the room, Xiao Changtian had already gotten up from his bed. After tidying up his clothes, he also planned to go out for breakfast. "When I came last night, Senior had already fallen asleep, so I didn't disturb Senior." After Chu Iren had tidied herself up, she stuck out her tongue at Xiao Changteng. "Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. Why don't we go out and eat?" Xiao Changtian thought about how this girl's sect had been destroyed by the ghost last time. This time, she must have come back because her sect had been rebuilt. Of course, he had to congratulate her. Moreover, he did not know if the ghost possession had been completely eradicated. Although the Great Sun Immortal said that there was no problem, it was better to let him take a look. "All right." When Chu Iren heard Xiao Changtian's words, her face lit up with a smile. She couldn't wait to go out for a meal with Xiao Changtian. Soon, Xiao Changtian brought Chu Iren to a small stall in town to eat some soup. "Boss, give me 2 bowls of beef noodles." Xiao Changtian sat on the small table and said to the stall owner. In Daong town, Xiao Changtian was very familiar with the townspeople. Usually, he would come here for a meal. "All right, wait a moment." Soon, 2 bowls of steaming beef noodles were served to Xiao Changtian's table. The waiter looked at Xiao Changtian and Chu Iren before walking over to Xiao Changtian's side and whispering into his ear. "Senior Xiao, you have good taste. You brought your girlfriend out for dinner so early." After Xiao Changtian heard his words, he smiled and pushed him. "What do you mean? There's no such thing. Go to your business." Hearing Xiao Changtian's words, the waiter quickly showed an expression of understanding and then returned to his soup pot. Chu Iren couldn't help but say, "Senior, what were you talking about?" "No, don't worry about him. Right after eating, I'll take you to see the Immortal De Yang to see how the ghost is doing." Xiao Changtian picked up a bundle of noodles with his chopsticks and stuffed it into his mouth as he spoke slowly to Chu Iren. Hearing Xiao Changtian's words, Chu Iren's face darkened. As expected, nothing could be hidden from Senior. One of the reasons why she came to find Xiao Changtian so late yesterday was that the feeling of uneasiness had been reappearing recently. Chu Iren was afraid that she would suddenly go berserk and bring disaster to her sect, so she came to Xiao Changtian's place overnight. With that thought in mind, Chu Iren turned to Xiao Changtian and said, "All right, I'll listen to Senior." Chu Iren was slowly getting used to the idea of finding Taoist Master Daong. Senior is currently playing around in the mortal world, so he naturally does things according to the logic of mortals. Seeing Chu Iren agree, Xiao Changtian nodded his head and continued. "It's better to be careful when it comes to being possessed by ghosts." In the cultivation world, Xiao Changtian had heard of many cases of possession. If it hadn't been completely eradicated the last time, the ghost would have returned one day and possessed Chu Iren. Possession? Was that voice in the dark night made by a ghost? However, with my strength, one actually couldn't see through him. Senior even told me to be more careful. One think that the strength of that ghost has also reached an unfathomable level. With that thought in mind, Chu Iren turned to Xiao Changtian and said, Yes. One heard that strange sound in the dark again recently. 1 foot 11 inches, be careful. What was that? Hearing that strange sound in the dark night. When Xiao Changtian heard Chu Iren's words, he suddenly recalled the TV series from his previous life. In those horror films, ghosts like to come out at night. In his previous life, he had thought that these were all imagined by those people. Now, it seemed that there was a reason for ghosts to move in the dark. Since it was daytime now, he had to bring this girl to see the Great Sun Immortal. As they spoke, Xiao Changtian and Chu Iren finished their noodles. Following that, Xiao Changtian brought Chu Iren along and rushed towards the direction of the Great Sun sect. In the sky above the divine world. the demon god's shadow stood in midair. Beside him stood a man with ice-blue hair. Ice Emperor, this time you're invited to help, you'll receive a lot of benefits. Hearing the monster god's words, the Ice Emperor snorted coldly and waved the spear in her hand. The water vapor in the surrounding air condensed into small ice beads wherever the spear passed. This time, one have mastered the ice frost technique. It won't be a problem for me to help you deal with that terrifying flame. However, you have to remember that after you succeed, you have to deliver the spirit recovery pill that you promised me. As she spoke, the Ice Emperor's eyes were filled with anticipation. I know. As long as you help me restrain that flame with the spirit recovery pill, it's only a matter of time before you recover your godly emperor cultivation. The phantom of the demon god said to the Ice Emperor with a smile. The Ice Emperor was a capable helper that he had found for himself. After suffering the loss of the immortal Dayang's Nanming Ignis painting, the demon god had hidden himself and healed his injuries continuously. After coming out of seclusion, not only did he reach the peak of his cultivation, but he also invited the Ice Emperor, who was famous in the divine world back then. After failing one after another, the demon god clone was fully prepared to destroy his main body. After receiving the demon god's avatar's assurance, the Ice Emperor smiled. When I recover my cultivation, the dragon fruit will definitely fall into my hands. The reason why the Ice Emperor's cultivation was sealed was because she had barged into the forbidden area of the fire dragon race. He tried to touch their sacred item, but he was discovered by the fire dragon king and was immediately cursed by him. Her cultivation had also fallen to the god emperor realm. Over the years, the Ice Emperor had thought of many ways to break this curse. However, none of them had a good outcome. The spirit recovery pill in the hands of the demon god clone was his new hope. As they spoke, the Ice Emperor and the demon god clone slowly arrived at the place where Lin Ruomiao had returned to the Tianyuan continent. Recently, in the divine world, a crack between the barriers of the two worlds would appear from time to time. To the demon gods and the others, it was already something that they were used to. Chapter 295 Chapter 295 Seniors High Morality, We Can't Keep Up. Chapter 295 Seniors High Morality, We Can't Keep Up. With him 1. Great Sun Sect's main gate. Xiao Changtan brought Chu Iran with him and said slowly to the two Great Sun Sect disciples guarding the door. Please inform Taoist Great Sun that Xiao Changtian requests an audience. This was not the first time Xiao Changtian came to Great Sun Sect. The Great Sun Immortal ordered that as long as Xiao Changtian came to find him, he would bring him in immediately. Therefore, when the two Great Sun Sect disciples saw Xiao Changtian, they immediately smiled at him and said, "Please go ahead. The ancestor is already waiting in the hall." As he spoke, a man led Xiao Changtian and Chu Iran towards the Great Sun Divine Hall. The other person left quickly to inform the Great Sun Immortal. Xiao Changtian sighed when he heard the words of the two disciples. The strength of the Great Sun Immortal was indeed terrifying. He was in the main hall, but he knew what was going on outside. If it wasn't for the fact that his system wasn't strong enough, he would have to gather all the animals to activate the path of invincibility. Otherwise, he would also be a powerful figure in a sect now. Xiao Changtian would say these words every time he came to Great Sun Sect. After all, if a transmigrator were to transmigrate into a world of immortal cultivation and not be allowed to cultivate, wouldn't that be torture? Soon, under the lead of the disciple from the Great Solar Sect, Xiao Changtian and Chu Iran arrived at the Great Solar Palace. As soon as he reached the entrance of the hall, the Great Sun Immortal went up to Xiao Changtian and said with a smile, "I've already prepared fruit and tea. Please come in." Xiao Changtian saw that the Great Sun Immortal was so enthusiastic, so he quickly followed him into the hall. After sitting down on a chair in the hall, Xiao Changtian said to the Great Sun Immortal, "Taoist Big Sun, I came to find you this time mainly because I want to trouble you with something. This Iran seems to have been haunted by ghosts again recently. I'll have to trouble you to help see if you can completely eradicate him." When the Great Sun Immortal heard Xiao Changtian's words, He remembered the phantom of the demon god. But didn't it die under the attack of the Nanming trigram? Presumably, Senior was playful again and came to experience mortal life here. With this thought in mind, Immortal Daong said to Xiao Changtun, "Don't worry. That ghost won't be able to cause any waves." In front of Senior's strength, even if that ghost didn't die completely last time and made a comeback, what could it do? Xiao Changtian heard the casual tone in Taoist Big Sun's voice, and his worry for Chu Yiren eased considerably. The great Sun Immortal was extremely powerful. With him around, those ghosts would not be able to cause any trouble. Feeling relieved, Xiao Changtian smiled. He turned to Chu Yiren and said, "Hurry up and thank the great Sun Immortal. The last time you were saved, it was also because of the great Sun Immortal." When Chu Yiren heard Xiao Changtian's words, she also stood up to express her gratitude to the great Sun Immortal. After the Beast Tamer sect was destroyed, Perfected De Yang sent many people to deliver supplies to them. Hence, Chu Yiren was very grateful to Taoist Big Sunday. Being thanked by Chu Yiren, who was stronger than him, Taoist Big Sun hurriedly stood up and responded. Chu Yiren was Senior's favorite. She might even be Senior's future cultivation partner. Being able to build a good relationship with him was something that he could not ask for. As he thought about this, Taoist Big Sun turned to Xiao Changtian and Chu Yiren and said, "Don't just sit there. These fruits are all prepared for you." These fruits were the bribes that the great Sun Immortal had received in secret because of his relationship with Xiao Changtun. As for these spiritual fruits, not to mention the other members of the great Sun sect, even the great Sun Immortal himself was reluctant to eat them. After arriving at the great Sun Immortal's place, Xiao Changtian felt the dense immortal cultivation atmosphere around him. He had almost no worries about the ghost possession. He picked up a grape on the table and put it in his mouth. Not only is this Taoist De Yang approachable, he doesn't put on any airs towards mortals like me. He's simply a model in the cultivation world. Seeing Xiao Changtian eating the fruits he provided, the great Sun Immortal was also very happy. These days, Xiao Changtian didn't contact him much. The great Sun Immortal was afraid that he would become distant from Xiao Changtian. Today, Xiao Changtian had brought Chu Yiren here to tell him about the ghost possession. He must have been thinking about him. "Senior is so powerful, yet you still remember me. Senior has noble character and integrity, and we can't compare to you." Xiao Changtian was eating fruits in his mouth. He thought that he should not mistreat the great Sun Immortal since he treated him so well. As a mortal, he couldn't help him with his cultivation, but the Immortal De Yang was a calligraphy lover. Xiao Changtian took out a painting from his interspatial ring. Holding the calligraphy and painting in his hand, he handed it over to the great Sun Immortal and said, "Taoist Big Sun, this is a painting that I just made recently." The great Sun Immortal looked at the calligraphy and painting in Xiao Changtian's hand and quickly took it over and opened it. A ball of white flames was hidden in the snow mountain. Outside the snow mountain, there was a group of cultivators fighting each other. The Immortal De Yang looked at the calligraphy and painting in his hand. In his mind, a picture of many cultivators fighting to the death for the white flame appeared. "Taoist Big Sun, what do you think?" Xiao Changtian said as he looked at the painting. After hearing Xiao Changtian's words, the great Sun Immortal finally broke free from his spiritual world. In his mind, the white flame could not be removed. Although it was a flame, it revealed an irresistible coldness. Was Senior telling him about other cultivation methods of flames? With this thought in mind, the aura on the body of the great Sun Immortal also rose steadily, and he had already reached the Mahayana realm. Feeling the change in his realm, the great Sun Immortal said to Xiao Changtun, "This painting is extremely wondrous. One haven't been able to fully comprehend it." Xiao Changtian smiled at the great Sun Immortal's words and said to the great Sun Immortal, "It's okay. If you like it, you can keep it and take your time." Hearing Xiao Changtian's words, the great Sun Immortal's eyes were filled with gratitude. Above the Tianyuan continent, the figures of the demon god's clone and the Ice Emperor slowly appeared. The Ice Emperor felt the thin spiritual energy in the world and said to the demon god's clone with dissatisfaction, "Demon god, the person you want to deal with can't be on this barren continent, right?" The demon god clone naturally knew what the Ice Emperor was thinking. The primeval essence beside him covered his face, making it impossible to see his expression. Ice Emperor, one know what you're thinking, but I still have to remind you not to underestimate this land. This place is even more dangerous than some forbidden areas. As he spoke, the demon god clone recalled his unpleasant experience here. One time he was killed by an arrow and the other time he was burned to death. The Ice Emperor's eyes flickered when he heard the word forbidden area. No one knew what he was thinking. Got it. Hurry up and get to work. In any case, his mission was only to help the demon god clone deal with the flames. In this place where the spiritual energy was thin, the flames were probably not as terrifying as the demon god's clone had said. This was good too. He could also save some effort. After obtaining the spirit recovery pill, he could head to the territory of the fire dragon race. Chapter 296. Chapter 296. Let's get rid of the ghost above first 1. Chapter 296. Let's get rid of the ghost above first 1. Above the Tian Yuan continent. After hearing the Ice Emperor's words, the demon god's clone began to activate the true essence in its body and began to chant. Using his connection with his main body, the demon god clone quickly discovered Chu-Iren's location. A dark green light flashed across his eyes as the demon god clone said to the Ice Emperor beside him, "Follow me." Then, he turned into a stream of light and flew towards the Great Sun sect. Soon, the Ice Emperor and the demon god's clone appeared in the sky above the Great Sun sect. The two disciples guarding the door saw the two people in the air and felt the terrifying aura emitted from their bodies. "An expert has descended. Quickly report this to the forefather." As a Great Sun sect disciple said this, a force descended on his body. The Great Sun sect disciple turned into ashes and dissipated into the air. "Ants are all things. Don't ruin my plans." After dealing with the Great Sun sect disciple, the demon god's clone spoke slowly. "I say, Yao God, aren't you being too cautious?" The Ice Emperor looked at the monster god beside her and said with some disdain. In his perception, there was no one in the entire Great Sun sect that he could take seriously. A place like this can be completely destroyed with just a casual spirit skill. You can't be telling me that the person you want to kill is here, right? Although the weaker the opponent was, the better. If he was too weak, wouldn't he lose his status? The monster god also heard the mockery in the Ice Emperor's words and felt a little uncomfortable. However, he still explained. "One can feel that the person who released the flames is here." After he was killed by the Great Sun Immortal, the demon god's clone had also recorded his aura. While the demon god's clone was talking to the Ice Emperor, Perfected Great Sun, who was in the main hall, also sensed the changes outside the Great Sun sect. Following which, bursts of green inner yuan began to rise from Chu-Iren's body. Seeing Chu-Iren's sudden situation, Xiao Changtian hurriedly walked over to her side. "Iren, what's wrong?" Xiao Changtian looked at Chu-Iren in his arms and the green glow on her body. This scene was extremely similar to the situation of being possessed by a ghost back then. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian said to the Great Sun Immortal beside him, "Taoist Big Sun, do you think Iren has been possessed by a ghost again?" Taoist Big Sun looked at Chu-Iren's condition and was about to say something when a voice came from outside the hall. "This time, you shall disappear from this world." Hearing this voice, Xiao Changtian and the Great Sun Immortal walked out of the hall. In the air, the Ice Emperor and the demon god clone stood side by side, staring at the unconscious Chu-Iren in Xiao Changtian's arms. Wasn't this the ghost that attacked Chu-Iren last time? Seeing the doppelganger of the demon god, Changdan quickly said to the Great Sun Immortal beside him, "Taoist Big Sun, I'll have to trouble you to take this ghost away." The Great Sun Immortal nodded at Xiao Changtian and took out the Nanming Ignis diagram from his interspatial ring. He opened the Nanming primordial fire painting with both hands, and a terrifying flame shot out from the painting. Ice Emperor, I'll leave this to you. The demon god clone looked at the terrifying flames and felt a sense of fear. He retreated and said to the Ice Emperor, who was beside him. However, as soon as the demon god's clone finished speaking, he looked to his side and realized that the Ice Emperor was already standing in front of the great Sun Immortal. The Ice Emperor looked a little excited. Looking at the interspatial ring in the great Sun Immortal's hand, she said slowly, "What is hidden in your ring?" I felt an extreme coldness. The great Sun Immortal looked at the Ice Emperor in front of him and didn't pay much attention to his words. He turned the scroll in his hands and aimed it at the Ice Emperor. Then, a burst of flames shot towards him. Damn it! The Ice Emperor shouted loudly and took out a crystal-clear mirror from her bosom. Frost Ice Mirror. This was his natal spirit weapon. As soon as he took out the mirror, it emitted a bone-chilling coldness. The surrounding space began to snow. Bang! The flames hit the ice mirror, and a wave of melting ice and snow immediately appeared. Not good, the Ice Emperor shouted in her heart. Then, the ice mirror and the flames cast by the great Sun Immortal were destroyed. The Ice Emperor looked at her burnt palm and the great Sun Immortal with an ugly expression. The materials used to make this ice frost mirror did not come from the divine realm at all. Instead, it was made from the Xian crystals he found when he went on an expedition outside the divine realm at his peak. For so many years, no one could break through his defense at all. He did not expect that the flames would be more than he had imagined. In a single exchange, they had destroyed his ice frost mirror. As Taoist Big Sun attacked the Ice Emperor, Xiao Changtun watched as the green glow around Chu Yiren grew stronger and stronger. He pointed at the demon god's clone in the sky and said to the great Sun Immortal, "Taoist Big Sun, let's get rid of the ghost in the sky first." When the great Sun Immortal heard Xiao Changtian's words, he nodded his head, although he sensed that the Ice Emperor was a little dangerous. However, there was no enemy that the Nanming Ignis diagram could not defeat. The demon god's clone in the air looked down at Chu Yiren, his eyes flickering. "We can't go on like this. The main body is about to awaken." Although he said that, the demon god clone had no intention of leaving. This time, he came out of seclusion to completely destroy his main body. With that thought in mind, the demon god clone unleashed all of its inner yuan and charged towards Chu Yiren. At this moment, the great Sun Immortal also pointed the scroll in his hand at the demon god's clone. Bang! The demon god clone looked at the sudden burst of flames. What was going on? Why didn't the Ice Emperor stop him? The situation before him didn't allow him to think too much. The demon god clone turned around and tried to dodge the attack of the flames. He was still very afraid of the power of this flame. However, the flames released by Taoist Big Sun were still following closely behind the demon god's clone. The demon god clone dodged the flames in midair, but he was still burned by them. Looking at the Ice Emperor below, the demon god clone could not help but shout angrily, "Ice Emperor, what's wrong with you?" Unexpectedly, the Ice Emperor rolled her eyes at him. The contempt in her eyes was gone. Instead, he stood at the side and looked at him. With the power of the flames just now, it would be good enough if he did not die if he went up. He even wanted to block the other party. While the Ice Emperor was watching, the great Sun Immortal used the flames of the Nanming Ignis diagram to catch up to the demon god's clone. Ah! The demon god's clone let out a blood-curdling scream before shouting at the Ice Emperor below. "Ice Emperor, you are a man without faith." As he spoke, the demon god clone was also engulfed in flames. Chapter 297, Chapter 297, What kind of deal is this? Not interested. Chapter 297, What kind of deal is this? Not interested. Great Sun Sect. Holding the Nanming Ignis painting, the great Sun Immortal aimed at the demon god's clone in the sky. Under the corrosion of the flames, the demon god's clone's aura became weaker and weaker. It looked at the Ice Emperor below with a look of unwillingness. Slowly, under the corrosion of the flames, the demon god doppelganger and its aura completely dissipated into the air. Bang! The demon god doppelganger exploded in midair, turning into a sky full of green starlight. Following that, the green starlight gathered on Chu Yiren's body. Xiao Changtian watched as the green starlight poured into Chu Yiren's body, not knowing what was going on. Chu Yiren, who was still unconscious in his arms, seemed to be slowly returning to normal after the green starlight entered her. In Chu Yiren's mind, her surroundings were pitch black, as if she was in the middle of the night. Slowly, a portrait appeared in front of her. "Is this me?" Chu Yiren said in disbelief as she watched the scene in the air. In the video, Chu Yiren was exuding a terrifying aura as she sat quietly on a throne. Below the throne were a group of demon beasts, including the explosive flame lion, the ice scale beast, the yellow rat demon clan. Without exception, they were all kneeling on the ground, worshipping Chu Yiren. Chu Yiren's gaze never left the screen. Gradually, their gazes met. He blinked at her, and then her figure and the entire scene slowly disappeared. He was the god of demons? Chu Yiren's mind seemed to have gained some new information. And just as Chu Yiren was about to digest him, she felt a throbbing pain in her head. In her mental world, Chu Yiren hugged her head and felt the world around her spin. Meanwhile, Taoist Master Daong, who was standing in front of the Great Sun Divine Hall, stared at Chu Yiren, who was in Xiao Changtian's arms. The green glow on Chu Yiren's body slowly dissipated as well, and as it did, her aura rose steadily. In Taoist Big Sun's perception, Chu Yiren's current cultivation level was probably comparable to the demon gods. The people around Senior couldn't be treated with common sense. The Great Sun Immortal sighed in his heart. After cultivating for so many years, this was the first time he had seen such a cultivation speed. As Xiao Changtian watched Chu Yiren slowly return to normal, his worries dissipated a little. As expected of a cultivator with profound strength, Immortal De Yang couldn't be looked at with the eyes of a mortal. On the other side, the Ice Emperor had not attacked again after her ice frost mirror was destroyed. He had been silently watching the battle between Taoist Big Sun and the Demon God's clone. After the Demon God's clone was destroyed, perfected Great Sun turned his attention back to him. "Fellow Taoist, don't do it." Seeing that Taoist Big Sun was about to attack him, the Ice Emperor hurriedly waved his hand. The Ice Emperor had noticed something unusual about the Great Sun Immortal when he had just watched it. The cultivation level of the Great Sun Immortal was negligible to him. He was able to kill the Demon God's clone entirely because of the painting scroll in his hand. Moreover, through observation, he found that as an immortal cultivator, Taoist Master De Yang was actually talking politely to a mortal without any breath. Even the Ice Emperor could not understand what was going on. However, none of this was important. What was important was that if he could find the owner of this painting, then there might be a new possibility of breaking the seal on his body. The spirit recovery pill only increased the probability of breaking the seal. However, with a super expert taking action, the effect would be greatly different. When the Great Sun Immortal heard the Ice Emperor's words, he didn't know what he was going to do. After all, when he was fighting with the Demon God's clone, he didn't take the opportunity to attack him. "Tell me, what do you want?" The Great Sun Immortal looked at the Ice Emperor with a gloomy expression. He held the Nanming Ignis portrait and was ready to attack at any time. Although this guy was able to withstand the flames of the Nanming Ignis diagram and was not injured. However, with Senior by his side, no matter what tricks he played, he did not have to worry about anything. The Ice Emperor slowly walked toward the Great Sun Immortal and said to him, "Fellow Taoist, I have a spirit gathering pill here. How about we make a deal?" As she spoke, a jade bottle appeared in the Ice Emperor's hand. Although she couldn't see what was inside, the spiritual energy in the surroundings became denser. The Ice Emperor looked at the Great Sun Immortal with a smile. After taking out the spirit gathering pill, it was obvious that he had enough confidence in himself. After all, cultivators cultivated their entire lives to improve their cultivation, and the spirit gathering pill in his hand was a treasure that could improve their cultivation. When he was a low-level deity, he had once relied on the spirit gathering pill to break through several levels. Under the effect of the spirit gathering pill, the body's absorption of the spiritual energy between heaven and earth would greatly increase. When he was only a low-level deity, he had already given him such great help, let alone this cultivator in front of him who wasn't even a low-level deity. The great sun immortal looked at the jade bottle in the Ice Emperor's hand with a wary expression. As there were too many people who wanted to build a good relationship with him recently, the immortal of Great Sun also understood a principle. If he was trying to curry favor for no reason, he was either a traitor or a thief. What deal? The Great Sun Immortal said slowly to the Ice Emperor while keeping his guard up. Although I don't know what this guy wants to do, I'll make a plan after one figure out his goal. If it really doesn't work, one can only invite Senior. As long as you tell me who gave you the painting, this pill will be yours. With your current cultivation, I reckon that after you consume it and enter seclusion for a period of time, you will be able to reach the Supreme God realm. After all, as an immortal cultivator, you should know that your own strength is the most important. Relying on external items is ultimately not a long-term solution. The cultivation of a Supreme God realm expert was probably a realm that this old Taoist would find difficult to pursue in his entire life. As he spoke, the Ice Emperor felt as if everything was within his control. Supreme God realm. The Great Sun Immortal did not understand the strength and cultivation of the divine world at all, so he had some doubts in his heart. Then he asked, "How is he compared to that guy just now?" Hearing that the Great Sun Immortal didn't even know about the Supreme God realm, the Ice Emperor's eyes revealed a trace of disdain. This person from the lower realm did not even know about the Supreme God realm. He did not know how much luck he had exhausted to obtain that painting scroll. With this thought in mind, Ice Emperor said to the Great Sun Immortal, "There's still some distance between you and that fellow just now. However, you shouldn't be too greedy. A Supreme God realm expert is also a well-known expert in the divine realm. With the picture scroll in your hand, if you want, I can bring you to the divine realm. At that time, you can also become the ruler of a region." In order to get the Great Sun Immortal to reveal the owner of the painting, the Ice Emperor started to make things difficult for him. After hearing the Ice Emperor's words, the Great Sun Immortal also looked at him with disdain. "What kind of deal is this? I'm not interested. If you want to fight, then fight. My Great Sun sect has never been afraid of anyone." After a round of communication, Taoist De Young finally understood. This blue-haired guy wanted to visit Xiao Changtian and even wanted to tempt him with a pill. He had just witnessed Chu Iren's cultivation progress by leaps and bounds. No matter how fast this medicinal pill improved, would it be able to help him improve faster? Fighting here today might disturb Senior's cultivation of the mortal world. It wasn't easy for Senior to come here. If this continued, what would he do if he angered Senior? Chapter 298 Mortals living in the world of cultivators. Chapter 298 Mortals living in the world of cultivators are filled with danger. 1. In front of the Great Sun God Palace. The Ice Emperor was stunned when he heard that the Great Sun Immortal had rejected his offer. What did the old Taoist say? He wasn't interested. The Ice Emperor opened the jade bottle in his hand and a crystal-clear pill appeared in his hand. As soon as the pill was taken out, a rich pill fragrance wafted into the noses of the Great Sun Sect disciples. A treasure! The Great Sun Sect disciple looked at the pill in the Ice Emperor's hand with pity in his eyes. "What, you don't want to consider it?" The Ice Emperor picked up the spirit-gathering pill in her hand and said to the Great Sun Immortal, "If this old Taoist didn't agree, when could he break the seal on his body?" At this moment, Xiao Changtian also came out of the Great Sun Divine Palace. Just as Chu Iren was slowly recovering, Xiao Changtian brought her to the main hall to rest. At this moment, Xiao Changtian came out to see how Taoist Big Sun was doing. Xiao Changtian walked over and said to the Great Sun Immortal, "Taoist Big Sun, how is it?" This blue-haired man had just arrived with the ghost. Xiao Changtian didn't have a good impression of him. Looking at the spirit-gathering pill in the Ice Emperor's hand, wasn't it a candy? What was wrong with this guy? He was already an adult, and he was also an immortal cultivator. Could it be that he still liked to eat sweets? When the Ice Emperor saw Xiao Changtian, she had a new idea. In his eyes, Xiao Changtian was just a mortal without any aura, but the great Sun Immortal was talking to him as an equal. Perhaps he could start with this mortal, and this old Taoist would be willing to tell him the information about the owner of the painting. After calculating in his heart, the heaven-suppressing Ice Emperor condensed and charged at Xiao Changtian. As long as he could capture this mortal, given the relationship between him and the old Taoist, he believed that he would not reveal the information about the owner of the painting. With the Ice Emperor's strength, it was only a matter of time before he condensed his Zhen Yuan. He gathered all his Zhen Yuan and appeared in front of Xiao Changtian in a flash. "Wow!" Xiao Changtian said instinctively, and then he threw a punch at the Ice Emperor. Bang! Facing Xiao Changtian's punch, Ice Emperor felt an invincible force rushing towards him. Wasn't this a mortal? What was going on? Xiao Changtian's fists landed on the Ice Emperor's face. Then, the Ice Emperor flew out like a kite with a broken string. When the great Sun Immortal saw Xiao Changtian's attack, his eyes were filled with excitement. Every time he saw Xiao Changtian fight, he felt that he could comprehend a lot. As expected of a senior, with a casual punch, he knocked this guy to the ground. Cough, cough, cough. The Ice Emperor's figure was lying on the ground. She held her chest and felt the injuries in her body. After taking a punch from Xiao Changtian, the Ice Emperor's internal organs were in a mess. The current him basically did not have any combat ability. I didn't expect there to be such an expert here. The Ice Emperor wiped the blood from his mouth. Ever since he became famous, blood would only appear on others. He had been bleeding and injured, and it was unknown how long ago it had been. The powerhouse? Xiao Changtian looked at the Ice Emperor who had been knocked down by his fist and stared at his fist in disbelief. Could it be that he could defeat an immortal cultivator with a single punch? Xiao Changtian looked at his fist with joy, but he quickly denied it. No, he was clearly immortal. How could he defeat an immortal cultivator? He had already tested this countless times. He did not have any aptitude for cultivation at all. There must be a problem somewhere. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian looked at Taoist Big Sun beside him and understood. This guy had come with the ghost just now, but Immortal De Yang did not take him in. What did this mean? This person must have been possessed by a ghost just like Iren, which was why he could fight with the Immortal Big Sun just now. The blue-haired man recovered after the ghost was destroyed by the Big Sun. However, this blue-haired guy was immortal. After he recovered with his martial arts strength, he naturally defeated him with one punch. As Xiao Changtian thought about this, he felt that his thoughts made more sense. In order to confirm his thoughts, Xiao Changtian said to the great Sun Immortal, "Taoist Big Sun, leave this guy to me." Upon hearing Xiao Changtian's words, Taoist Great Sun immediately nodded. The great Sun Immortal didn't know how to deal with the Ice Emperor. At this moment, Xiao Changtian wanted to deal with him personally. It was as if he had found his backbone. Yes. If there's anything that needs my help, 1 foot 11 inches do my best to help. Xiao Changtian was delighted when he heard the words of the great Sun Immortal. As expected, this blue-haired man was immortal. Otherwise, with the quality of an excellent immortal cultivator, why would the great Sun Immortal let a mortal like him deal with an immortal cultivator? Wasn't this asking him to send his head away? He was sure that this guy was also immortal. As an immortal cultivator, it was not easy to deal with him. The great Sun Immortal had helped him so much, so he was willing to help with such a small matter. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian walked towards the Ice Emperor. The Ice Emperor looked at Xiao Changtian, who was slowly walking towards her, and a trace of fear appeared in her eyes. Through the fight just now, he knew that Xiao Changtian was definitely not an enemy he could deal with. Just as he was about to gather his Zhen Yuan to make a final resistance, Xiao Changtian put his hand on his shoulder. Suddenly, the Ice Emperor felt the true essence in his body completely dissipate. No matter how he urged it, the true essence in his body seemed to be sucked dry. What kind of immortal technique was this? The Ice Emperor looked at Xiao Changqian's smile, her eyes filled with uncontrollable fear. After being famous for so many years, this was the first time he had encountered such a situation. He felt like he was immortal. Xiao Changtian looked at the Ice Emperor's terrified eyes and sighed in his heart. This mortal living in the cultivation world was filled with danger. If he was not careful, he would be possessed by a ghost. If he hadn't gotten to know such a good cultivator like the great Sun Immortal, he might have been possessed by a ghost one day just like him. Looking at his terrified eyes, it was obvious that he had yet to recover from the fear of being possessed by a ghost. After he brought it back, he had to help him recover. Thinking of this, Xiao Changtian held the Ice Emperor in his hand, turned around and said to the great Sun Immortal, "Taoist Big Sun, I'll leave Iren here with you for now. Help me take care of her." Before leaving the great Sun Divine Hall, Xiao Changtian had used the medical skills he had obtained from the system to investigate Chu Iren. There was nothing wrong with his body. Instead, he was full of strength. He should be fine after a nap. However, he remembered that what he learned was the medical skills of mortals. Just in case, it was better to stay with the immortal De Yang to take care of him. Hearing Xiao Changqian's words, the great Sun Immortal behind him nodded his head. "Don't worry, I'll take care of Chu Iren's situation." Xiao Changtian smiled when he received Taoist De Yang's reply. This trip had finally resolved the issue of Chu Iren being possessed by a ghost. Chapter 299, Chapter 299. This place is simply another forbidden area. Chapter 299. This place is simply another forbidden area. 1. Deyang Town. Xiao Changtian brought the Ice Emperor and slowly walked towards his courtyard. Along the way, they met many familiar faces. Divine King Red Cloud and the others also greeted Xiao Changtian. "I wonder who this guy is to actually follow Senior. I don't know. The aura he exuded seemed to be a little more powerful than ours." That's indeed the case. However, there's no such person in the divine realm. After greeting Xiao Changtian, Divine King Red Cloud and the others gathered together and started whispering. The Black Sky Divine King suddenly thought of something. He clapped his hands and said to the others, "I think I've seen this person in the ancient records of my sect. It seems to be the Ice Emperor, one of the 10 great generals under the Lord of the Divine Court, whose name shook the divine world a long time ago. Ice Emperor." Upon hearing God King Blackheaven's words, the others had a pensive look on their faces as they started whispering. On the other side, the Ice Emperor was pulled by Xiao Changtian and soon arrived at the gate of the courtyard. Along the way, the Ice Emperor had also thought of breaking free from Xiao Changtian's restraint and escaping. However, as long as Xiao Changtian held his arm or put his hand on his body, he couldn't gather his Zhen Yuan. In this way, he was no different from a mortal. Moreover, the more Ice Emperor looked, the more shocked she became. There were actually more than 10 God Emperor realm experts gathered in this small town. What a terrifying power! In his era, it could also cause a wave in the divine world. When they arrived at the gate of Xiao Changtian's courtyard, the Ice Emperor finally understood what the demon god's clone had said to him. "Don't underestimate this place. It's even more dangerous than some of the forbidden areas in the divine world." Indeed, although he was at the peak of the God Emperor realm, it was dangerous to come to Deyang Town. This place was simply another forbidden area. When Xiao Changtian arrived at the courtyard, Alpha, who was at the gate, quickly ran out. Seeing Xiao Changtian, she quickly ran to Xiao Changtian's feet and rubbed her head against his feet. Seeing Alpha's behavior, Xiao Changtian also rubbed Alpha's head with his hands dotingly. This was the heaven-swallowing dog. The Ice Emperor looked at Alpha, who was beside Xiao Changtian, and a huge phantom of a divine dog appeared in her mind. Beneath the feet of the divine dog were the vast stars in the sky. With the vast stars as chess pieces and the boundless galaxy as a chessboard, it opened its bloody mouth as if it wanted to swallow the sky and the moon. From the looks of it, this heaven-swallowing dog was his pet. The Ice Emperor felt that he had underestimated Xiao Changtian. Originally, The Ice Emperor only thought that Xiao Changtian was an old monster who had reached the level of Emperor God. Coupled with some special cultivation techniques, he restrained himself tightly. Although he was afraid, he could still think of escaping after thinking it through. However, after seeing the heaven-swallowing dog, the Ice Emperor was in complete despair. The heaven-swallowing dog was a mythical beast that only existed in legends. Why would it appear here? The Ice Emperor didn't doubt that the moment he thought of escaping, heaven-swallowing dog would eat him up. Soon, Xiao Changtian brought Ice Emperor and Alpha into the courtyard. At this moment, Mu Jiahuang was washing the steamed vegetables and sea base. When she saw Xiao Changtian, she said to him, "Master, you're back." Xiao Changtian responded to Mu Jiahuang's greeting with a smile. Mu Jiahuang looked at the Ice Emperor behind Xiao Changtian and felt the cold aura from him. Although she was powerful, Mu Jiahuang was not too worried. No matter how strong this person was, could he be stronger than his master? After living in Xiao Changtian's courtyard for some time, Mu Jiahuang had already thought that Xiao Changtian was an omnipotent existence. The Ice Emperor's emotions were indescribable. What did he see in the courtyard? A phoenix with an endless fire domain around its body. A giant golden dragon whose body could suppress the heavens. An ant that walked out of the chaos. A monkey phantom that was emitting golden light. A black tortoise that was as tall as the sky, intimidating the 9 heavens, and surrounded by endless seawater. What was going on with these ancient divine beasts? Why were they gathered in such a small courtyard? One had to know that even in ancient times, it was difficult to see one of these divine beasts appear. Now that all of them had appeared, how could the Ice Emperor not be shocked? The Ice Emperor looked at Xiao Changtian's courtyard again, looking at the walls and floor. The walls of this courtyard are all divine artifacts, divine artifacts. The Ice Emperor was lost in Xiao Changtian's courtyard, muttering. Xiao Changtian, who was in front of him, heard the Ice Emperor whispering to each other. It seemed that the aftereffects of being possessed by a ghost were really serious. Fortunately, the immortal of Great Sun had already eradicated them. It was better to let this guy rest here for a few days. When the time came, he would see if he could find his family and send him back. If it really didn't work out, looking at his body, it wasn't impossible to find him a job in the small town. Just as Xiao Changtian was deep in thought, Di Tian also walked out of his room. Seeing the Ice Emperor beside Xiao Changtian, he couldn't help but say, "Ice Emperor." When the Ice Emperor heard Di Tian's voice, he felt that it was somewhat familiar. He turned his head, and when he saw the Lord of the Divine Court before him, he couldn't help but to say, "Master?" Xiao Changtian was just preparing to find a room for the Ice Emperor to stay in. But after taking a few steps, he heard the voices of the Ice Emperor and Di Tian. He turned and spoke to Di Tian. "Di Tian, do you guys know each other?" Di Tian and the Ice Emperor stared at each other, excitement in their eyes. At this moment, they heard Xiao Changtian's voice. Di Tian also hurriedly walked to Xiao Changtian. He then spoke. "Yes, Senior. This is one of my servants." "Servant? It turns out to be your servant. This is the best. He has been possessed by a ghost recently, but it has been resolved. You should take care of him." Originally, Xiao Changtian was worried that something would happen if this guy didn't go and take care of him. He didn't expect that he would be acquainted with Di Tian. Now, the problem was perfectly resolved. Possession? When Di Tian heard Xiao Changtian's words, he also started. He then understood that Xiao Changtian was playing around with him. He then spoke to Xiao Changtian. "All right." After handing the Ice Emperor over to Di Tian, Xiao Changtian felt a wave of relief in his heart. He returned to his rocking chair in the backyard and began to ponder about life. After Xiao Changtian left, the Ice Emperor stared at Di Tian with excitement in her eyes. She knelt down before Di Tian. "Master, I've finally found you. Get up quickly. Don't be like this. Senior will be unhappy if you do this." When Di Tian saw the Ice Emperor bowing to him, he also stopped him. Doing this in Xiao Changtian's courtyard would be troublesome if he was disturbed. "Come with me, let's talk slowly. I haven't seen you in a long time. After speaking, Di Tian also walked into his room. Although the Ice Emperor didn't know why Di Tian would instruct her in such a manner, she still followed behind Di Tian. Chapter 300 Chapter 300 This was the most common injury in my past life, 1. Chapter 300 This was the most common injury in my past life, 1. Xiao Changtian's courtyard, Di Tian's room. Di Tian stood in the room, staring at the Ice Emperor before him. He then spoke with concern. Ice Emperor, are you the only one here? Where are the others? Di Tian had already informed the Ice Emperor and his old subordinates about his reincarnation. However, Di Tian still didn't know what had happened to his old subordinates. And when he reincarnated successfully, he would not be able to find them even if he wanted to. I don't know. When I woke up, I found myself alone. Originally, one wanted to go to the Fire Dragon King's territory and obtain their sacred dragon fruit. Then, I would help my lord recover his strength. I didn't expect that the Fire Dragon King would seal it. As he spoke, the Ice Emperor rolled up his sleeves and a fire rune was imprinted on his arm. I came here to think of a way to help break the seal. One didn't expect to meet my lord. When the Ice Emperor said this, her voice was filled with excitement. Sealed. When Di Tian heard that the Ice Emperor had been sealed, he felt a rush of anxiety in his heart as he stared at the fire runes in her hands. This is the Fire Dragon King's natal rune. If one was at my peak, I could still resolve it. However, with Senior here, with Senior's ability, it should be very easy for Senior to help you resolve this seal. As he spoke, Di Tian was also pacing back and forth in his room. It was impossible to say that he did not care about his subordinates. Senior? When the Ice Emperor heard Di Tian's words, he also felt some doubts in his heart. Ever since he entered the courtyard, he had never felt that he understood anything. Yes. Listen to me. Very swiftly, Di Tian told the Ice Emperor everything he knew about Xiao Changtian. Master, you mean this senior who has lived for many years and has reached the peak of his strength? Is he here to train his heart and play with the world? As she said that, the Ice Emperor recalled the time in the Great Sun Immortal Palace. Taoist Big Sun was polite to Xiao Changtian, and Xiao Changtian's appearance was also very polite. He was dressed in a green robe and looked elegant. There was even a trace of delicate and pretty aura between his eyebrows. He clearly looked like a master. No wonder that old Taoist spoke to him politely. It turns out that my eyes were blind. The Ice Emperor sighed. Di Tian saw this and couldn't help but say, But, do you have any conflict with Senior? After hearing Di Tian's words, the Ice Emperor didn't hide anything and told Di Tian about the matter between him and the demon god clone. Di Tian looked at the Ice Emperor with anger in his eyes. He said to the Ice Emperor, Ice Emperor, are you stupid? How could you attack Senior? Fortunately, Senior didn't kill you on the spot. It seems that Senior brought you back to give you a chance to turn over a new leaf. Although Di Tian thought this way in his heart, he still pulled the Ice Emperor along. Come, follow us to Senior's place to apologize. As he spoke, he didn't care if the Ice Emperor agreed or not. Di Tian pulled the Ice Emperor and walked towards the backyard. At this moment, Xiao Changtian was pacing back and forth in the backyard. He looked at the black tortoise and the goldfish in the pond and sprinkled the rice in his hand. After feeding them, Xiao Changtian saw Di Tian bringing the Ice Emperor over to look for him. Di Tian brought the Ice Emperor to Xiao Changtian. He slowly spoke to Xiao Changtian. The servant at home offended Senior previously, please forgive me. After knowing Xiao Changtian's identity, the Ice Emperor said to Xiao Changtian, Senior, I was blind before and offended you. Please forgive me. Hearing their words, Xiao Changtian understood why they were here. This Di Tian's character was truly outstanding. He had been working diligently in his courtyard for the past few days. He had also contributed to the renovation of his courtyard. His servant had offended him at the Great Sun Divine Hall. That was because he was possessed by a ghost. Moreover, he was the one who sent the other party flying back then. Now, he was here to apologize to him. Xiao Changtian also spoke to Di Tian and the Ice Emperor. It's fine. Di Tian, just take good care of him. When Di Tian heard Xiao Changtian's words, he also confirmed his own thoughts. This senior didn't kill the Ice Emperor on the spot because he had predicted the relationship between them and spared his life. There was no way to repay senior's great kindness to him. As he thought of this in his heart, Di Tian's eyes were filled with gratitude as he stared at Xiao Changtian. When the Ice Emperor heard that Xiao Changtian didn't want to pursue the matter, he quickly apologized to him. Hearing their words, Xiao Changtian waved his hand at them and said, "Is there anything else? If not, he should rest more." Di Tian's servant had just recovered from being possessed by a ghost. It was best for him to rest well. Upon hearing Xiao Changtian's words, Di Tian's heart trembled. He pulled the Ice Emperor and spoke to Xiao Changtian. "Senior, this servant has suffered some injuries recently. One need to trouble you to take a look." Wounds? Could it be that he had punched it out earlier? Hearing Di Tian's words, Xiao Changtian also recalled how he had sent the Ice Emperor flying with a single punch after the incident at the Great Sun Divine Hall. Although this guy looked fine after the incident, he was still a mortal after all. It was normal for him to have some injuries after receiving a punch from his martial arts master. While he was thinking about this, he saw the flame rune on Ice Emperor's arm. In his previous life, this little red dot should be the most common kind of injury. It was an injury caused by accidentally falling and scratching. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian said to the Ice Emperor, "The injury you mentioned is on your arm, right?" Xiao Changtian pointed at the Ice Emperor's arm. Senior was indeed a god. He knew his purpose of coming here like the back of his hand. He even knew that the Ice Emperor was sealed. Upon hearing Xiao Changtian's words, Di Tian and the Ice Emperor nodded their heads. After that, the Ice Emperor showed Xiao Changtian the flaming runes on her arm. Looking at the runes on the Ice Emperor's body, Xiao Changtian walked into his room and took out a bottle of ointment. This was something that he had concocted with the medical skills given to him by the basic system after coming here. It could cure all diseases. Xiao Changtian nodded in satisfaction as he applied the ointment on the Ice Emperor's arm. "Senior, this is..." The Ice Emperor looked at Xiao Changtian's actions and was a little confused. According to his understanding, shouldn't breaking the seal be to mobilize one's own vital essence to break the seal? Why was this senior smearing something on his hands? While the Ice Emperor was puzzled, the fire runes on her arms slowly melted. Chapter 301 Chapter 301 Black Robe Deity Emperor, Die. Underscore. Chapter 301 Black Robe Deity Emperor, Die. Underscore I. This ointment directly solved the seal that troubled him. The Ice